on, LAFB family? Before we get to the show, got to tell you about my friends over at Sleeper, the number one sports app right now, and not just for season-long fantasy. They have daily game updates. They have a live chat that you can chat with other users. Plus, my favorite part is the daily fantasy feature, which is similar to a pick'em. You just choose 2 or more players across any sport, choose more or less in whatever sport that may be. So if it's football, more or less touchdowns for Jaden Maiyava. If it's Mekhi Lemon, more or less receptions. If you're looking at the Dodgers, more or less home runs for Shohei Ohtani. Really easy, and you can win real money. Right now, when you go and make your first deposit, make sure you use our promo code. You see it right there on the screen, USC LAFB. That's going to give you a match deposit bonus up to $100. You put in $100 to play with, you're going to get $100 free on top of that. You can put in 10, you get 10 free. Also, right now, our friends are offering a $20 free entry for any new signups. If you go sign up today, you'll get both those offers. You get $20 right off the bat free to play with. Plus, use that promo code USCLAFB at sign up and you'll get that match bonus as well. Go to the App Store, Google Play, download the Sleeper app today, and tell them that the USC LAFB sent you. Now, let's get on to the show. Hey, what's going on, Trojan family? What's up? Welcome to the USC LAFB show. I'm your host, Ryan Dyrud. Here it is on a Saturday bye week for the Trojans, but was trying to do some tracking of some of their 2026 and 27 prospects in the high school landscape last night, and give a quick update on some of the leading figures kind of from this squad. Man, I'm so excited about this 26 class. I think this is a program-defining class. And that's not sliding anything about the 25 class that they currently have as true freshmen, with some program definers in that. Some of the 24 class members that are leading the way for this Trojans team currently. But this 26 class is just loaded with talent all across it. Obviously, 34 of them, so the numbers are much higher. But they've just got some really talented kids, I think, that are going to have an impact as freshmen probably next year. And also, going into when they become veterans and develop more down the stretch. So a lot of good stuff that I've seen from a lot of these high school kids. I wanted to get into that. So real quickly though, how nice is it? I know it was not really Trojan fans, but some from the outside were, projecting some, whatever you want to call it, hate, whatever, which, is USC. So that's going to happen. But with this Chad Bowden policy and of, once a recruit commits, that's it. Can't take any visits. Obviously, the chatter grew about this policy after their top commit, Xavier Griffin, at the time. It now just seems like such a long time ago, but essentially decommitted, and now he's, in the SEC, primarily because of this policy, was still kind of like, committed to SC, but wanted to take some visits and kind of continue his recruitment. And SC said, hey, if you want to do that, that's great, but you can't stay committed to us. Like, we want everyone all in. So that was kind of the chatter. And, whether you like it or love it, what I'm trying to say is, how nice is it right now? Just knowing that, like, this class, they're not taking visits. So for instance, Jared Curtis, the number one quarterback in the class, committed to Georgia. He's at Vanderbilt today, taking a visit to Vanderbilt. And obviously, if anyone watched College Game Day this morning, Nate Bargatze, one of my favorite comedians, doing the big marketing push for him to commit and stay in Nashville and commit to Vanderbilt and whatnot and continue what they're building. So it is kind of nice, I'm sure, for fans to be like, all right, well, we just know our guys aren't on these visits. Like, they're locked into SC. And all of them seemingly are very locked into USC. So let's start with Luke Wafel. I mean, this kid is special. Just a freak athlete for being a high school senior. 6'6", 240, somewhere in that range. No, I think even bigger than that. 6'6", like 250 or so. Let me see here. 255, 6'6", 255. Let's get that right. So, you watch him play. There's the obvious traits and similarities to like a Nick Bosa. I think that's very clear when you watch some of his pass rush moves, and just the style that he rushes and just the swagger that he has kind of is very emulant of Nick Bosa. I see some Myles Garrett as well in him, and just kind of the speed off the edge and just the pure strength that he has. I mean, Myles Garrett, obviously one of the best pass rushers in the NFL today, and just has so much just raw strength that he's able to exhibit when getting after the quarterback. I think Luke Wafel, has that as well. So another great game last night. Our friend Scott Schrader was at the game for Hun, where he plays, and posted some clips and one of his sacks. I mean, it makes it look easy. Like it was such an basically it looked like a drill, a bag drill. Like the ball snapped, he's at the point of attack, kind of like chopping his feet, and then just essentially throws the offensive tackle and gets the quarterback, making it look easy. So doesn't have updated stats yet on Max Preps for last night's game, but on the season prior to last night, 11 total sacks on the season, 22 tackles for loss, 58 total tackles. So having himself an incredible senior season. And I think this is a kid similar to like a Jakeem Stewart, obviously a little different positional. Jakeem plays a little bit more in line on that 3-tech, and I think Wafel has the size to play 3-tech, but I think he's best suited out on the true edge. But I think he's a guy that can absolutely play as a freshman next year. Obviously you want to have depth where you're not needing freshmen to be step up, kind of like what is happening right now with this Trojans team when we talk about this youth. But I think he's good enough where he's going to just force his way on the field. Like their coaching staff won't have an option. Like why would they not put him out there? I think he's that good. So yeah, Luke Wafel going to be a special one. Scott Schrader also said after the game that he was able to talk to him. I think he's released all his notes, but basically said that he's fully locked in and committed to USC, which is always great to hear. So no wavering there at all no waffling from Wafel, I guess I should say, is a good way to put it, locked in with your USC Trojans. Elbert Hill, let's talk about him. Rock Hill, another tremendous DB commit, having a fantastic season over in Ohio, and just locking it down in terms of his coverage. Had another interception last night. I think he's up to 8 interceptions on the season, and just another really special player that is going to contend for playing time as a true freshman. You think of like Alex Graham, had he not gotten hurt, would probably be kind of the full-time nickel at this point, if he was able to complete a full fall camp based on conversations we had, and as a true freshman would be able to make an impact. Now, obviously, being injured, and now he's trying to catch back up to where he was prior to that. We haven't seen a ton of him on the field, and we could see him down the stretch after the bye. But a guy like Elbert Hill, I think, is someone that could absolutely, contend to be a true game wrecker or game impact player as a freshman. You think about, loaded DB class all around, but you think about Elbert Hill, Brandon Lockhart, and then obviously Sermons, who reclassified but was in that 26 class originally. Those 3 guys are elite defensive backs in the same class that could all have major impacts next year. Brandon Lockhart obviously having a fantastic season so far for Sierra Canyon. So I think Elbert Hill is a guy that wasn't underrated. He was the second or third overall defensive back in the class, the cornerback in the class. So obviously highly touted across the nation, but a guy that kind of, I think, hasn't got a ton of conversation nationally since committing to USC. And he's just absolutely lighting it up as a senior in high school. So super excited about him and what he's going to bring to this class, and the ability that he'll have as a true freshman potentially to play. Trent Mosley, another, I think, just incredible athlete, receiver out of Santa Margarita, who's having a great season thus far. Another big game last night. He had a big game against St. John Bosco, and another one against Orange Lutheran last night. 10 catches, 100 yards. Was able to rush for 2 more scores, just like he had against John Bosco. So really an elite playmaker that, I'm not saying he's going to be a run the ball a lot at the college level, but has that speed and shiftiness. Whereas if they want to do some of those jet sweeps and jet motions like we've seen Lincoln Riley do in the past, quite often, he can certainly be used in that regard. And I think when you look at his skill set, what Lincoln Riley and USC wanted to do with Zachariah Branch, and it just didn't. It worked in his freshman year, and just for whatever reason last year just did not work out. That's how they can utilize Trent Mosley. He has that size, but still has has that speed, but still has good size where he can. You just want to put the ball in his hands and see what he's able to do with it, because he's an elite route runner, elite point of attack in terms of catching the football, elite hands. And so this is a kid that, is not ranked as a 5-star, but plays with a 5-star mentality and can absolutely come into this Trojans program as a freshman, similar to how Zachariah Branch did, and really step up. So, we got a long way to go to see what happens with this current receiving class with Mekhi Lemon, Jacoby Lane. If they both do go to the draft, does USC go in the portal and kind of get one, maybe two kind of guys they feel can fill those roles? Because there's going to be a lot of youth after that. But Trent Moses is a guy that I think will have an impact as a freshman 100%. So, just another fantastic game from him and someone that, I'm really excited about. And, just confirming Albert Hill does have 8 interceptions on the season, which is pretty incredible. So, and then lastly, I was trying to do some coaching trackers on the bye week where they went. Didn't see a ton out there, but Lincoln Riley and Dennis Simmons, wide receiver coach, were down to watch Boobie Feaster at DeSoto, who remains locked in with the Trojans, obviously, which everyone should breathe easy on that. And, he's having a great season also. I was able to watch, was it last week? I think it was last week when DeSoto played Duncanville. It was like the Max Prex game of the week. So watch that. Then he had his 2 touchdowns and just elite speed. I think that's what's maybe underrated about him. You look at the size as just a junior, obviously reclassified to the 26th class. So he's got really good size and is going to continue to grow into that and grow more. But the speed, Duncanville is a elite high school program in Texas. It's not some 2-win program that just doesn't have the players to keep up. Like, that's a good program, a good defense. They won that game by 20 points or something. And one of his catches was just like a very simple kind of, dig out route, 5-yard that he ends up taking it almost 70 yards of the house. And just the breakaway speed that he had from those Duncanville corners was eye popping. And so the fact that you're going to have Feaster and Mosley in this class, along with some other great receivers they have, and Luke Weaver, and I can go down the list, it's really exciting. And so, again, don't want to get ahead of ourselves. Obviously, Mekhi Lemon is going to be a huge loss, which I don't see any reason why he wouldn't go to the draft. Jacoby Lane, we'll see. I think the injury hurt him a little bit, his draft stock. But either way, those are going to be big shoes to fill. And again, you don't want freshmen to be forced to do that, but they have so much talent that you at least feel good about the prospects of that. Obviously, Tinuk Hines then will be a sophomore. So, just the future is super bright. So, want to jump on here quick, highlight those few players. Luke Wafel, keep saying that. Luke Wafel, going to be a stud, not waffling on his commitment whatsoever. The receiving core looks incredible, and Albert Hill having himself a heck of a senior season at the cornerback position. So future's bright, my friends, for this USC Trojans program, and we'll see what they continue doing on the recruiting trail for the rest of this season. Quick update for you. Appreciate you for tuning in. Have yourself a great weekend. Enjoy the bye week. That Nebraska Northwestern game, Northwestern's no joke. Northwestern is a good football team. We'll get to it next week. Obviously, we got Nebraska, but then you got Northwestern on a Friday night, and then you got Iowa. So, the tough stretch for this USC Trojans team. No layover games the rest. UCLA is getting their doors blown off by Indiana, but who doesn't? So, there is no easy game the rest of the way for this Trojans team, and they've got to get up and get it right to make this season back on track and finish strong. So we'll get all into that next week as we prepare for Nebraska, but everyone have a great Saturday. As always, fight on, fans.